Hello everybody and welcome back to Blue Jay Acres. My name is Noelle. Thank you so much for stopping by. So today we are going to do a 1950s dinner. So cook a 1950s dinner with me. We're going to do it all the way through the whole thing. Now this is my 1950s cookbook from Better Homes and Gardens. This is my favorite cookbook. My daughter got it for me a couple years ago. This is something that you can get on Amazon. I know people have found it, or at used bookstores. You just got to kind of look online and try and find it. But if you can get your hands on this book, it is a gem, especially if you're wanting to cook from scratch. It has some of the best basic recipes, and it takes you all the way. If you're a new cook, especially, it tells you just everything. Everything that you could possibly want to know. What the different words mean in recipes. And it's a great, great cookbook. So let's take a look inside. So when you open it up, of course it is old, but it has like a meal plan and nutrition. So it goes into nutrition, and then it gives you one of my favorite parts of the book is sample meal plans. So it'll tell you, like, use this meat, pick one of these starchy foods, one of the vegetables, one of the salads, one of the desserts, one of the nice to serve with, or both of the nice to serve with. Now, the recipes then are in the cookbook. So it makes it very easy to make a real 1950s meal, because this is what was suggested to them to cook. So this would be an example of what a dinner would be. So it has all different ones to choose from, but the one that I chose today was the chicken fried round steak. So that's our meat. Then you can either pick baked squash or lyonnaise potatoes. I think that's how you say it. And I picked the potatoes. Then broccoli or snappy green beans, and I picked the snappy green beans. And then over here you have either an ambrosia salad or a cranberry Waldorf salad. I picked the cranberry Waldorf salad. Then there's a nutmeg feather cake or apple dumpling, and I picked the nutmeg feather cake. Then either serve it with, nice to serve it with, are either butterhorn rolls, or actually I think you're supposed to do both. Sauerkraut juice. Now if I fed my family sauerkraut juice, I think they would have an absolute fit. So we are not doing sauerkraut juice, but we are going to do the butterhorn rolls. The other things that this has is like special helps. So when you go in here, it talks about terms used in recipes. It talks about measuring methods and how to measure. In here it talks about cooking for a crowd some places. This is about different measurements, seasons and herbs, and it talks all about what you should use those with, what's good with that or not. And then it goes into it as appetizers and beverages. It has canning even in here. It has breads and cakes and frostings and casseroles and just all kinds of good stuff. I just can't recommend this book enough. I absolutely love it. I get nothing for saying that, or nothing for telling you that, but I love it. It has lunches for your family in the menu plan, so you can plan lunch. You can plan, like I said, dinner. It has a breakfast in here as well, so you can plan what a breakfast would look like. It has easy meals. So if you want something just easy, there's just so much. It's just such a awesome cookbook, especially if you like vintage things. It's very, very handy to have. Okay, that being said, we're going to start off with the cake. It is 3:11 and I'm just now going to start dinner. So we'll see how long it takes. I get a feeling this is like a 3-hour process to make dinner tonight. But we'll see how it goes. So starting off with the cake. Okay, so we're going to start by creaming our butter and shortening together. So this is 1/4 cup of shortening, and then I'm going to add 1/4 cup of butter. Okay, and I'm going to cream these together. Now we're going to add 1.5 cups of sugar, and we're going to let that get all mixed in there really good. little bit of vanilla. Now I'm going to add 3 beaten eggs. I'm just going to scrape this down. Okay, so now I've got 2 bowls sitting here because we are going to sift this 3 times is what it says to do. So I'm going to start with my flour. I want 2 cups of flour. This is a 1/2 cup measure. Then it says you're going to do 2 teaspoons of ground nutmeg. That's about 1. And then I have to grate the other. Okay, so that's about 2 teaspoons of ground nutmeg. I have 1 teaspoon of baking powder. Okay, 1 teaspoon of baking soda. A 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And now I'm just going to sift this. And again, we want to do this 3 times. So there is 1. And this will be the last time that we're going to sift it. Okay, so here it is, nice and fluffy. Over here, we're going to turn this on. We're going to alternate with this ingredients, the dry ingredients. Plus I have 1 cup of buttermilk, but I didn't have buttermilk, so I just mixed my raw milk with some vinegar to make a buttermilk. So you're just going to alternate. We're going to do a little bit of that milk, a little bit of the flour mixture. Until it's all done. Cake pans. I'm going to just spray them really good with the non-stick spray. Then I'm going to sprinkle some flour in the bottom of both. And just kind of pat it all around so that you coat it and get the sides as well. I'm going to do that with both of them. then I am just going to divide this into both cake pans. And I'm just going to spread it out so that I can bake the cake. I'm going to bake these at 350 degrees. We're going to bake these at 350 degrees for about 25 minutes. Alright, I just got them out of the oven, and now I'm going to let these cool off, and then we will get them iced. Alright, so for the potatoes tonight, it says that you need to have them already cooked, and then we're going to dice them up after they cool off, and peel them, and turn them into kind of like a hash. That's what these potatoes are like. So I'm going to go on and cook mine in the in the Instapot for about 13 minutes. And then we'll let this quick release and let it cool down. And then basically what the potatoes are, you're gonna dice them up and fry them up in some kind of lard or some kind of grease, and then add some onion to that as well, and salt and pepper. So kind of like fried potatoes or like a hash. So that's what that is. Now we're gonna go on, it is 4:03, and I wanna go on and start the dinner rolls because they have to rise for an hour, and then we'll shape them into rolls, and then they gotta rise again. So let's get those started. All right, so the first thing that we wanna do is we're gonna scald 3/4 cup of milk. So we're gonna just really warm that up. Don't want it to boil, but we want it to get it nice and warm. And to this, I'm gonna add 1/2 cup of vegetable shortening because I want that to get melted in here with the milk. Here we're also gonna wanna add 1/2 cup of sugar. So we're letting all this kind of just melt together. Okay, this is just now starting to get to where it wants to come to a boil, so I'm going to remove this from the heat and let this cool down before we add it to our yeast mixture. So we're going to make that right now. So in here I have 1/4 cup of warm water. It's not hot, it's just warm. And I'm going to add a tablespoon, a little bit more than a tablespoon of yeast. It says, or you would add 1 packet. Oh, sorry, that wasn't really in there. So there's our yeast. I'm just gonna give that a quick little stir. And we're gonna let this get foamy and activated. And I forgot to add the teaspoon of salt also to this milk mixture. Alright, so now in my mixer I'm going to add the yeast mixture. Again, I'm going to add our milk mixture. And I'm going to add 3 beaten eggs. Mix this all together. And we're going to add 4.5 cups of flour. This is again is a 1/2 cup measure. So there is 1, 2, 3, 4.5. And now I'm just going to knead this for a few minutes. Okay, so now I'm gonna just take this and I'm gonna drizzle a little bit of olive oil on it. It says to grace your bowl, and then you want to roll your dough in it. So this is really the same thing. So just toss it around in there. Now I'm gonna cover, and this is gonna rise for about an hour until it's double in size. All right, now we're gonna make the cooked dressing to go on the Waldorf salad, because we want that to go in the fridge. It's about 4:30 right now. We want that to go in the fridge so it's nice and cold when dinner comes, the Waldorf salad. So we're gonna make this dressing that you need to make. Then it needs to cool off some before we toss it in with the salad ingredients. So let's make that first. Okay, so we're gonna make a double boiler. So I'm gonna turn this on high so this will start to boil. Then I have a bowl. Actually, let me see. A little bigger bowl. Thank you, Ginger, for this wonderful pan. So I'm gonna get this boiling, and I'm gonna use this as a double boiler so that just the heat is gonna get this cooked. I would like if my bowl sat down in it a little bit further, but my other pot is too big, so I don't really have one that's gonna fit perfect, and this bowl's too small for the other pot, so it's just the way it goes. So the first thing I'm gonna do is add my dry ingredients. So I got 1/4 cup of flour, 1/4 cup of sugar. And then in here I have 2 teaspoons of salt, 2 teaspoons of ground mustard, and 1 dash of cayenne pepper. I'm just gonna stir this together. Then to that I have 4 beaten egg yolks. I'm gonna add that in. And I have 1½ cups of milk. I'm gonna add that in. Again, just get that all mixed together. Now we're gonna cook this on a double boiler until this gets thick. Then we'll remove it, and we're gonna add some a tablespoon of butter and 1/2 cup of white vinegar. So just making kind of like, I think it'll be a lot like a Miracle Whip kind of taste. This is starting to thicken up some. So I just want to keep stirring it. Okay, that is definitely thickened up. So I'm going to remove this from the heat. And over here, as you can see, it's thick like a pudding. I'm going to add in a tablespoon of butter and 1/2 cup of white vinegar. And we're going to just stir that all together. That then becomes the salad dressing. Okay, so for the salad I have 1 apple chopped up and a stalk of celery chopped up. I'm going to add some of this salad dressing that we just made. And I'm going to add some walnuts. Then I'm just going to stir this and mix it. Alright, I'm going to just stir this all together. And I'm going to squeeze a little bit of lemon juice on to help with the apples from browning. And that's it. This is going into the fridge until we're ready for dinner. Okay, so now our bread is risen. So I'm gonna just put some flour down here and spread that around a little bit. Then I'm gonna punch this dough down and divide it into 3 different pieces. And we're gonna roll this out into a circle best we can. Then here I have some softened butter, and I'm just gonna kind of rub that here. Then I'm just gonna take a knife and just kind of cut these into rolls or little triangles. And we're gonna take them and just kind of roll them like that.
Those smell really good. What are they?
Called butterhorn rolls.
Those are the smallest rolls I ever did see.
They gotta rise till double. So if you can see over here, I'm just putting them down on a sheet, cookie sheet. He's wishing that I had dinner ready at 6 o'clock. These took forever to rise. So dinner will of course be late, but that's all right. That's how we usually eat.
That's all right. Gives me time to go turn the garden soil. If it's dry enough.
So I'm just gonna do this with all of them. This one will be a great big one. It's gonna be like the mama. Where the papa.
They smell really good.
Thank you. Now this makes a lot of rolls. So I am gonna do some of these. I'm just gonna put in the freezer, and I'll do one batch for tonight into the oven. So this batch that I have here on the sheet, I'm just gonna put in the freezer, and then I can just let them rise another day. Alright, so these are, I'm going to put in the freezer, and then I'm going to make a batch to make now. Okay, so here are what they look like, and now I'm going to cover these and let them rise until doubled again. I'm just going to cover them like that. Okay, so next we're going to start with our meat, and I'm going to just tenderize this meat. I'm using the sharp end. Then I'm going to turn this over and do the same thing on the other side. I'm going to do that with all these pieces that I have here. just want to make sure that I get this cut into bite-sized pieces or serving size pieces. So I'm just going to kind of set them over here. Here I've got some eggs, and I'm going to add just a little bit of milk to the eggs. I did about 3 eggs, and I'm just going to mix this all together. Then we're going to crush up some saltine crackers. Okay, so then I'm just going to take it and I'm going to dip it in the egg mixture and then into this cracker crumbs. And I'm going to just set it over here for a minute. I'm going to do that with a few of them. I think some of this meat I might end up putting away. And make it maybe again tomorrow. So I know this is a day late, and I apologize. This week the girls are moving back home, so we got a lot going on. The college, it takes us 2 hours round trip, and we're trying to get everything moved out, so it's a busy week for us with the girls. But I am so happy to be having them home for the summer. Now this is going to get then fried real quick. And I have a 1/4 cup of lard. It just says a 1/4 cup of fat. So I'm doing lard. You could do Crisco or butter, whatever you want. In a pan. We're going to brown these nicely. And then we're going to cover them and let them cook on low, a really low heat. For, it says 45 minutes to an hour. So over here, I'm going to start adding this. I already have the oil nice and hot. And now is also when you would add some salt and pepper, but because of the saltines, I'm not going to do salt. Everybody can salt their own if they want it saltier. I'm just going to do some pepper. When I flip it, I will pepper the other side as well. You can see that's nicely brown. Now I'm going to pepper this side as well. I'm going to let that cook for a few minutes so it's nice and brown on that side as well. Okay, then it says we're going to go to a very low heat. So I've got this turned way down. And I'm going to cover and let this cook now for quite a while. So I've got it turned all the way down to low. Alright, so now we're back at our mixer. We're going to make up our butter frosting. So in here I'm going to put in some butter, about a 1/2 cup. We're going to add about a 1/2 cup of shortening. And we're gonna just beat this up really good together. We're gonna add a little bit of salt. And some vanilla. And I'm gonna slow it down. I'm gonna add about a half a bag or a pound. This is about a 2-pound bag of powdered sugar. And then I'm just going to stir that all in. And I'm just going to start adding some milk. Alright, I switched to the pedal attachment. And now I'm just going to let this go for a while. Alright, that's looking pretty good. Alright, so now we're going to work on the cake. So cake number 1 that did not come out so good, as you can see, but we'll see what we can do with it. Hopefully you won't notice that bad. We'll see what happens. It stuck a lot more than any of the other from scratch cakes that I make. For right now, I'm just trying to get a little bit of something in the middle. Icing wise, it doesn't need to be a ton. We're going to see if we can get this other cake out. So this one did much better. So now I'm going to set this one down. And now ice it all. Alright, so not the prettiest ever cake, but it'll work. You guys can see it. Alright, next is the potatoes. So you want to melt some kind of fat, either bacon grease or lard or Crisco. And we're going to fry the potatoes. I just diced them. And we're also going to add some sliced onion in here, just some thinly sliced onion. And then we'll season it with some salt and pepper. We're going to let this melt. Alright, now I'm going to add in the potatoes. And we're going to fry those till they're nice and golden brown. They're already almost all the way cooked through, so it really shouldn't take that long. And we are going to season these with salt and pepper. Alright, now they're getting nice and golden on the other side. I'm just going to kind of flip them. Get them brown on the other side. And now I'm going to add some sliced onion as well in here. Thinly sliced onion. And then over here, let's take a peek. This is looking amazing. Steak over here. Probably ready for that to just turn off. Our dinner rolls have risen, so I'm going to start the oven. I'm going to bake this at 400 for about 15 minutes. So it's coming together at 7:30. So far I've been at it a while. Okay, so these are done. So now I'm going to move this off the heat, and we're going to move into our final thing. These are our snappy green beans. So we're going to start with 2 pieces of bacon diced. And we're just going to fry that up in the pan. Okay, now with this bacon, since it's getting close to being done, I'm going to add some chopped onion, diced onion, and diced green pepper. We're going to cook that until that's soft. Okay, so next I'm going to add in a can of green beans. It says to use already cooked green beans, so I'm just doing canned. And I'm going to add some cream. I just have our raw milk. It's very thick. Then you're going to add salt, pepper, and a little bit of nutmeg. Okay, next we're going to assemble our salad. You guys, isn't this the most beautiful head of romaine? I got this from one of the women who buys eggs from us. She brought this over to us. She grew it. And it is so beautiful. So I'm going to take a few leaves of these for the salad and wash them. I just have it in a bowl of water here because she gave it to me with the bulb on, so I could just leave it in the water. Okay. So now this is washed. I'm just going to layer the bottom here with this lettuce. And then here I just have some jellied cranberry sauce. And it said to just slice it. And we're going to lay that on top of the lettuce. Like that. Then we're gonna top it with this Waldorf salad that we made earlier. Alright guys, so here is the finished product. Here are the rolls. I just topped them with some butter. The potatoes, the green beans, the country fried steak, the Waldorf salad, and then the cake. And I don't know if you guys can see on top or not, but I sprinkled some fresh nutmeg on top. So that's how it looks. Now Charles and I will taste test it together for you. Okay, since we are going to be actually eating together as a family, I just made a little taste test plate. I wanted you guys to see the cake in the middle. If you can see that, you cannot even tell that it messed up on the bottom at all, which is wonderful. So I just have one tiny little taste of each for us to do for you guys. Let me get Charles in and we will taste test before we do family dinner. All right, so we're going to taste this for you. So which one do you want to taste first? Let's do the salad because that's the one I'm not sure about. You got to get the whole thing.
Well, that's easier said than done. There we go.
All right.
So. I mean, it's not terrible.
It's not bad. I expected it to be really bad. That was the one thing I was not crazy about.
It's like eating a fruit salad.
Mm-hmm. All right, potatoes. There's an onion there too to get.
I see that now.
You're tasting before me. Because I can't get my onion. You ate mine.
It was good.
Mm-hmm. It tastes like hash.
Mm-hmm. It does, yeah.
Okay, next the green beans. You gotta make sure you get bacon and everything.
Oh, trust me, I will. Ooh, I think I may have gotten a little bit of icing. Well, they just taste like green beans with bacon. You think they're different?
I think they're very good. I can taste the creamy. I think they're very good. I can taste the bell pepper.
I guess maybe. Well, actually, I think my bell pepper is off to the side there. I couldn't get it in that bite.
All right, now the steak.
Look.
So you do like country fried steak? I like that. This is gonna be a good dinner. And now the dinner rolls. As you can see, they're all nice and fluffy.
I got icing on mine by accident.
So good. All right, lastly, dessert, the cake, and then we're gonna go eat dinner. Oh, that's wrong. Oops.
That's pretty good.
You guys, I would recommend all of it. I think all of it's really good. All right, we're gonna go eat dinner. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to give a big thumbs up if you want to see more of these. Let me know down below if you want to see another.
Give 2 thumbs up because you have 2 hands.
Follow the menu with the 1950s because it's a lot of fun to do. It's a lot of work, but it's a lot of fun. All right, we'll see you guys later. Thank you guys. Bye, everybody. Have a great day or night, wherever you are.